Good evening, good afternoon, friends, for another round of our COVID time talks. Today, I shall be speaking to Mr. Rizwan Shafi, the Managing Director of Crescent Bahuman from Pakistan. Crescent Bahuman started its journey in 1994 with the recovery of 500 acres of marshland in a remote area in Pakistan and operates with a unique ecosystem and has been a vertically integrated operation for a long time. May I welcome Mr. Rizwan to kindly come and join us.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
I hope, first of all, I hope all of you are safe. Your Crescent, yourselves and your entire Crescent family, the large family of Crescent.
So far, so good. Testing times, but learning every day how to survive, how to make people survive. Big responsibility.
It's a constant learning, because every day, because this situation is so dynamic, changing every day, and new challenges coming every day. So I mean, it's and especially for large operations, it's not an easy task.
Absolutely correct, because nobody living has dealt with something like this before. So it is a new challenge for all of us.
Even till our grandfather level, if you look at that level, also nobody has faced anything like this before.
Yeah, so nobody's surviving in this world today who has ever seen something like this.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of disruption going on, and industry is definitely getting affected very badly. And what do you feel about this? How the industry will recover from this, and how are you facing this challenge?
I think this challenge aside, you have to be very, very positive. You have to look at what you're going to gain and how you're going to evolve. Because as far as COVID is concerned, it is not in our control. But we must control the things which are in our control, which is safety, security of our workforce. It is transparency in the supply chain. And right now, I think the market requires dependable supply chain. Not big, not small. I think the word dependability will take center stage going forward.
How do you define dependability?
Dependability means predictability. Because if you see the brands today, and end of the day, we are in contract manufacturing business. We don't make anything of our own. Everything is made to order. So whenever the brands, their supply chain today is disintegrated, they do not know their own projections as to when their stores will open up, how their inventories will play out. So they are now going to be preparing, or they are preparing that when they do come back online, they have partners, suppliers who are dependable and predictable. That means all of the lead time cycles we were used to before. I think Pakistan on average was on a 65-day plus lead time cycle on average. There are companies in this country which operate on a far tighter lead time. But I think when we come out of all this, the lead times will not be the same. It will be all agility model. And I'm not saying fast fashion model. Agility model means that lower stocks, quicker turnarounds, quicker reaction times. So all of that will change. So this is why predictability and dependability in the supply chain as far as the contract manufacturing is concerned will take center stage.
So how much do you think the lead times will be affected? If you're saying, let's say on an average, it is 65 days now. So do you think it will be coming down drastically?
We are currently preparing for a 35-day turnaround.
Okay, from the fabric development to
from the time we receive an order to the time we ship the order. That means we have to have a very, very robust AI-driven inventory forecasting system. Fabric has to be prepared well in advance. All of the work digitally has to be done well in advance. And as soon as the customer says cut, we should be ready to go.
Absolutely. But the fabric part has to be managed separately because that cannot be falling in this lead time.
Fabric will be a part and parcel of this. It will be I think going forward, it will be the liability of the supplier itself to be able to predict and forecast what the customer may or may not be requiring.
This will increase the complexities of business tremendously.
Uh, I think those complexity already existed. We just didn't see it in that light. So like I said, COVID has given us an opportunity to run a simulation, because last almost 2 months, we are in simulation mode. That means we are preparing that when we do come alive again, how the business will change. And I think our old ways and complacencies within the system will no longer exist. And if they do exist, then we will not exist.
Absolutely, very rightly said. And coming to the customers, the buyers, they have been, we have been seeing so many reports. Uh, Many of them have not behaved responsibly, and some of them have really come out well clean in this crisis. So, how is Crescent placed in this context?
We consider ourselves lucky that we do not have a large customer base. We have Levi's is our biggest customer, and they have been more than ethical, more than transparent, and they just before even the shutdowns started to happen, they started this dialogue on how they are going to manage and keep alive their supply base as well as their own brand. And they are probably the only brand in the world who have a long history and has dealt as a company with crises, including world wars, including multiple flus, Spanish flu, all of that. They've lived through all of this.
They have been.
So, but overall, Crescent has not faced any cancellations. Yes, we have worked as partners with our other partners, which are brands, and put things on hold in some cases. Some cases, pack and hold was the need of the day. So the true partnership, the spirit of partnership came alive. And we are very lucky. We consider ourselves very lucky to be partners with especially Levi. But other brands also overall, I would say about 90-95% have been very, very transparent with us.
That's wonderful.
If I talk about cancellations, they are few and far between.
Wonderful. I think that's you're very lucky, and probably you've built on the relationships well over a period of time. So I mean, this also shows that, and I think all the future is for these kind of relationships where you have a kind of much bigger stake in your partner than a normal buying and selling relationship.
That is again coming back to the original statement that I made: predictability and dependable supply. And since we are lucky that we have been trained by Levi, because we've been a partner with Levi for last 20 plus years. So when they react, we react. Their DNA is now merged into our DNA, and they have helped CBL evolve accordingly.
Wonderful.
They're about 60-65% of my capacity, and they've always been. And there have been challenges, of course, quality challenges, delivery challenges, and all that. But a true partner takes on the pain to teach and learn from these experiences.
Absolutely.
So I think that whole relationship came through, and their business model is blue. Because in my opinion, there are two kinds of people in this world. There are people who sell jeans, and there are people who also sell jeans.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in the last few years, people who sell jeans try to follow people who also sell jeans and try to imitate their supply chain model. Levi's was very different. They said, we are Levi. We have our own DNA. We have our own excellence. And they did not try to copy anybody else. A lot of people wanted to become fast fashion. A lot of people wanted, but Levi did not do any of that. So unfortunately, the people who also sell jeans the first time this problem came through, they pulled the plug. Because for them, they sell garments. They're in apparel business. They're not in jeans business. Their DNA is not blue.
Mm.
So whoever's DNA is blue will always push blue. And that will, as the supply chain will emerge more and more, stronger and stronger.
I think it also speaks about how strong the systems are there in these, specifically in the retailer side, how they are managing the whole business, because the retailers that we are seeing falling apart, probably, working on very, you can say, let's say, not lose is not the right word, but I mean something like that. Systems which were not uh, very very strong, and which could withstand a shock, big shock like this.
I think system will also require an evolution. And that all the systems, whether it is retail, whether it is the talk of the omni-channel, whether it is the lead time, whether it is the manufacturing itself. Now, I think going forward, cost of mistake, cost of poor quality will trump anything else. We will have to play on much tighter standards, because I think customer is more aware now. For the last few years, the talk of sustainability has made customer aware. So cheaper fashion will remain, of course, but it will be more quality conscious, more supply chain transparency conscious going forward. That means all systems will have to be recalibrated to deliver such excellence. Every time a human being touches a garment or a fabric, it is prone to a mistake, or cost of poor quality will go up. So going forward, robotics, automation, lasers, of course, we have to invest as suppliers in more and more technology that reduces the cost of poor quality.
And that includes health and protection, investing in health and protection for the garments, on the garment side also, I mean, for the consumers.
Absolutely.
You started your unit with a very unique way, recovering 500 acres of marshland, and going ahead with that process. So it's a different kind of journey. So I mean, and that has been I think what I've been reading, and I know that you've been strong in community development. So how is this whole experience of so many years also helping you to do better in this crisis in terms of community development?
We were born in 1994. When this plant was being put up, I was still in college. So my father is the architect of all this. And he had a choice at that time to put this facility anywhere in a city, in a developed city like Karachi, Lahore, Faisalabad. But our family originally started in textile business after the partition, always believed in community development first and business second. So before the factory came on, the school was alive, like all other factories that we have. My family is in a diverse business. And every hand that came in raw. Kurt Solomon was employed at that time to train all stitching and washing operators. Textile, basic textile like spinning, weaving. Our partners in America at that time were Greenwood Mills. And they brought in the technical support for denim manufacturing. We had excellence in spinning business. So it all came together, and it became a institution in terms of a training ground for all new boys and girls to learn a new way of manufacturing. So it is not wrong to say that we were born sustainable by design, without knowing what we were actually doing. At that time, the effluent treatment plant that we had was the biggest in South Asia in textile environment. At that time, there was no requirement for putting in a water treatment plant, but we had it. if you talk about initiatives like rainwater harvesting and all the other things, have been part of our DNA from day one. So for us, the business is all about the people. It is not about the machines. It is not about the systems. It is not about the protocols. It is giving people the opportunity to perform. And we have seen people, ordinary people, do extraordinary things, provided you give them the opportunity and the mechanism to perform.
Definitely, definitely, that's very correct. So the community development, you were also mentioning that something, about some blueprints you have been working on about not transporting people anymore, something like that.
Yeah, so we currently employ about 6,300 people in this facility. And going forward, we look forward not to be increasing the number in this location. And we have launched just before COVID, we were about to launch our social uplift program, where we have decided to go into small villages and communities and put up factories right next to their homes. This initiative is geared towards employment 100% women. And in a 8-hour shift, that means a woman should leave her house with or without a baby. We will build a daycare center. It will be 100% solar. And the target is to get her back home before her husband arrives from work. In the future, I think urbanization has to be stopped. And the villages, the structure in the villages, by providing jobs close to their home, is the only way to stop urbanization. The cities are already bursting out of seams. The kind of conditions people have to go through and live in is clearly not acceptable going forward. So this is a little initiative that we have launched. And as soon as things stabilize and we come out of this crisis, this will be the first thing we will be doing.
So that also brings a question of human management, in community development. So community development, you're already doing so strongly, and this will become a kind of one of the most important part of your community development.
In community development, we have many initiatives, and those initiatives start with the school on the premises. We have over 1,000 kids, and these are our future leaders who will come and make this company grow. And provided we train them from day one in the correct way of, how shall I say, management, value system, and focus on, again, all the values that we have as a company. We have the opportunity to give it to young boys and girls that come to our schools. Other than that, we have technical training institutes within the facility. We run right now, CBL is 100% literate. We ran a program called Jugnu, where we started teaching the elderly because we had the infrastructure of the school. So we brought in all the elderly people who were illiterate, and we trained them how to read and write. And other than that, I think from growing food within the premises and providing it to our employees may be not the right word, they are the stakeholders in this facility. So lots of small things that make a big difference. At the end of the day, it is all about education. Any which way you can educate, it will take you a long way.
Absolutely. Education is the key.
Absolutely.
Coming to sustainability, sustainability, circularity, there's so many keywords which have been, so strong for so long. And you mentioned that sustainability is your DNA. So what is your analysis of this? Because there have been so many varied definitions, and these definitions are changing. And post-COVID, I don't know how these definitions will change. So what is your take on this?
My take on it is that 50% of the world manufacturing community is far away from it right now. And there are few rays of hope. There are few companies which are doing cutting edge work. If you put your ego aside and you learn from each other, it's like donating blood. You donate, you get more. Right now, it is the right word, in my opinion, is collaborative learning. So we have to talk to each other. We have to learn. We have to share our best practices. Sustainability is a huge topic. It is just not a marketing jargon. You have to live it every day. It has to be real. That means for us, the guy who opens the door, that means the gatekeeper, have to think from there to the CEO of the company, have to think circularity, has to think sustainability, and have to understand what initiatives we have and what initiatives we should be taking going forward. So coming back to it is all about education. It is all about collaboration. There is enough knowledge out there. There is enough champions out there to follow. If we put our egos aside and we have to say that, we don't want to be number one. As a company, I want to be the best number two. I want to learn from others people's success and their mistakes and refine. And then I want to share that knowledge as a company.
Wonderful. Yeah. That's
so
great.
That to me, because end of the day, it is not about, when you talk about sustainability initiatives, the business itself has to be sustainable. First thing that comes to my mind is business sustainability. Whether it is supply chain, whether it is transparency, it is such a vast field, and we can talk about it for hours. It will not end.
There's no end to it, and
there's no end to it.
No end to it, and people have been talking in so many different ways. But what changes do you see? I mean, what do you see in a renewed focus on this, on circularity, on sustainability coming? Or
I think very much so, because customers, the product differentiation in the eye of the customer, the end customer. That means at the point of retail. That means at the point of somebody clicking and buying it online, needs to understand what the product stands for. And it is up to the brands how they educate their end customers, because we operate in a B2B environment. Our customers operate in a B2C environment. So education it has to go all the way to the end consumer. And I believe, and CBL believes, that up till now, the focus that we've seen on sustainability is not enough. We have to do a lot more, and it will be a lot more important going forward.
It's true, but the most difficult part is educating the customer. That is the final consumer. That is the most critical part, and also in current times, to learn from him, to understand from him, what are his change requirements, what he's looking for. Again, it's not an easy task. What do you think about these changing preferences or requirements of customers? Are we in a position to understand that?
Our eyes and ears is the customers we have. We are a contract manufacturer. Again, we must understand our identity. We will make what the market wants us to make. And it is, like I said in the very beginning, we are lucky that we work with Levi. They think years in advance. What they're preparing us now as a manufacturer, market will realize in 5 years what they have done, because their thought process is like that. Today, if they ask us to do something, as an organization, we feel, oh, this is too much, this is over the top, or this is too little. But we have seen and we have learned how to trust the direction we get from our customers, because they have better set of eyes and visibility, and they are the ones shaping the market, educating the customers. So the onus is on all the retailers to educate through either branding, through display, through awareness, through online, to educate their end customers.
Yeah, that's true. I completely agree with you. But I mean, do you see any, even from your customers, do you see any consumer preferences, changed consumer preferences coming up in terms of kind of products they are looking for, or
Products, I think right now, you're talking about people sitting at home,
hmm,
athleisure coming into the center stage. Somebody sitting at home wants to wear a pajama, wants to be comfortable. So the denim will have to adapt. We'll have to become softer. We'll have to become more performance oriented. Uh, why can't we carve our own niche in the athleisure market through denim? We can. We have all of the know-how, all of the R&D we have done over years now has to come together and has to become targeted.
so that's probably one of the directions in which the market might move.
I think it's already moving in that direction.
Yeah, we saw
Because
that movement. Yeah, but I mean, currently,
the world we will the world we will wake up to will not be anything resembling anything that we've known in the past. People are working from home. We never thought it was possible. We wasted so much time in transporting people from one end to the other, spending so much time in the car. Now people are going to work from home. They have all the modern tools to operate productively. Hence, we have to clothe them in items or in clothing or denim or whatever it may be that suits that lifestyle. So that evolution, whether we do it or somebody else does it, has to happen.
has to happen. And comfort will be probably a very big part of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think the healthcare features, uh, antimicrobials and antivirals and all of those properties built into the fabric, because everybody will be extremely health conscious going forward. World is not the same anymore.
Yeah,
Things that we took for granted, we will not be able to do so. So a lot of R&D is happening in that direction also.
and we have to see results from that, because I mean, till now I don't think really in this direction really the outcome has come out. But I think probably soon we might see some outcome coming out, where the health and production becomes a fundamental part of the product in coming time.
I think it will have to be built into the garment. And again, your customer, your end consumer has to be taught what the market, what the garment holds in terms of properties. Antimicrobial is not new. Socks industry has been using it for a while. It is not a difficult thing to do. Antiviral applications is not new, but you can use it now because you have the technology, you have the AI, you have the R&D available to you. So we are in a process currently. We have applied for a few patents. So I will not be able to divulge a lot more information at this time. At some other time, I will take you through a journey of how CBL is evolving as a healthcare partner to
Wonderful.
some of the brands.
That's good. That's good. I mean, once that is public knowledge, please share. Definitely, people will be
Of
very
course
happy
we
to.
will.
People will be
Of
happy
course we
to
will.
know.
Of course.
And as you already mentioned, we are looking for loungewear, and we are looking for athleisure and homewear, all this kind of this thing. And I think probably knits also will become a very important part, even if we consider indigo as being a part of that process. So, do you think that that also might be a possibility?
I think there's a big opportunity in reclaimed indigo for dyeing for knits, because CBL is vertical, so that means the entire operation is in one place. We have been experimenting not for now, for last 10 years, and we have done successful production in reclaimed indigo from our dye range to use in dyeing of knit garments. I think this trend will return, and knits, of course, will see a growth because they fit right into the athleisure segment.
Absolutely.
So denim has to now start to marry. Again, as far as businesses are concerned, all business will look for diversification. Going forward, big size is not going to matter. Agility is going to matter. You being able to pivot into new businesses will matter.
True.
So if it is knits, then denim will evolve towards the knit side, and automatically the consumer will make it evolve. We will have no choice
Yeah,
but
we
to
have to
follow.
go by the consumer. We have to follow the consumer.
Absolutely.
And also price points will also be important thing, because uh, I don't know how you visualize this, but post COVID, I don't know if we are looking at price points becoming very important or the value becoming more important. Um that's a debatable question, and it's different. Everybody has got a different version on that.
I think as a company, we have never considered price points. We've always talked about value for money proposition, whether it is B2B transaction or a B2C transaction. I think going forward, uh, people will buy less but buy better. I think at least we are banking on that.
And that's the right way to go, because ultimately we will also be seeing a reduction in demand in a big way, and probably part of the supply chain not being, everybody reducing the quantities they are producing, or some people being phased out also, of course, unfortunately. But I mean, ultimately it has to come down to reduced quantities and probably better qualities.
But I think just before even COVID, this reduce and reuse, again, circularity or PCW or whatever you want to, there's multiple uh, sets of terms that are being used in the market. Everybody has been focusing on reuse. I think the first focus will shift now towards tightening our old belt and concentrating on reduce, then going to reuse, whether it is water, whether it is reclaiming our garments, whether it is reusing our cut work, whether it is reusing our cotton, whatever it may be. And the customer now is aware. If you think they don't know, I think they know everything. Our bet is they will buy less and they will buy better.
Most of the people are thinking in this direction. I think most of the industry is thinking and hoping also, of course, because till the time really it turns into a reality, we can't know. But I mean, everybody is hoping and probably anticipating that this is how the things will move.
Absolutely.
And apart from all so many negatives which have come out, and of course some of the positives you already mentioned, what other positives do you see coming out from the current situation?
I think we've talked about it in more depth already. I think it's all positive going from here. We've already are sitting at rock bottom. So every day we breathe is a positive. First thing is life, and then comes the business. And like I said earlier, that I have seen extraordinary people do extraordinary things. And this whole model of keep adding people and gaining size is not going to be required going forward. The positive is that we will learn how to do more with less. We will embrace AI. We will embrace automation. We will embrace process optimization. These are the positives, and they will impact the balance sheet in a positive manner going forward. Convention is not going to sail. We have to think unconventionally now. We have to learn from other industries. We have to share the best practices. So what COVID has done is opened up our mind to all the possibilities. It has already destroyed our comfort zones.
Yeah.
And you think the best when you're out of the comfort zone.
As soon as you are out, I mean, in fact, everybody is out of that comfort zone already. So, I mean, and if we, I mean, it's better we don't go into that comfort zone any time soon, even if we recover. Uh, it will be better for the industry as a whole.
I think the key word that you will hear more and more is going to be collaborative learning. And in true essence, people will have to collaborate. Whether it is competitors within one country or same industry in multiple countries. Because we no longer have a trick. It is about sharing knowledge and new ideas. And once we start to, platforms like yourself are going to become so much more important in sharing this knowledge.
Thank you. We're just making a small effort in this direction. But of course, industry giants like yourselves and all other companies definitely need to come together, share, and probably bring out a better industry than what it has been.
Absolutely.
Any other thing you would like to share with the community, with the denim community? Anything else you
No,
would like?
that's it. I think it's been a good talk, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure, and
Thank
I
you.
wish you and everybody in your company, in the country, everyone to be safe and healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.